Right now at 6, a disturbing assault at a Washington County transit hub. The evidence, authorities say, led them to the suspect. Plus, a family sues an Oregon care home and the state after their loved one suffering from dementia walked away, then died, just hours after moving in.
My God, I wouldn't let these people take care of my dog or my kid.
Then, a football player with the Oregon Ducks under arrest after a deadly hit and run. And later,
we made a commitment to get this money out the door as soon as possible.
The good news for some Oregon students ahead of this year's summer break.
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin at 6 with a suspect accused of repeatedly sexually assaulting a woman at the Hillsboro Transit Center, apparently after the woman had passed out after having a bad reaction to new medication. John Adams was in court today. John, a warning for our viewers here. The details here really are disturbing.
It really is. Now, this incident actually happened of June 14 of 2023, and it's just being made public now because the suspect was only arrested in early April. Now, according to court documents, this whole incident was caught on TriMet security cameras, but no one stopped the incident from taking place despite the attack happening in a very public location.
Versus Madrid Roca.
29-year-old Eduardo Madrid Roca appeared before a judge in Washington County on Wednesday morning. He is facing 10 felony charges after prosecutors say he sexually assaulted a woman who had passed out at the Hillsboro Transit Center last June. According to court documents filed by prosecutors, the victim was a 63-year-old woman who was traveling from California to Portland for her grandson's graduation. She had recently changed prescription medications and had a bad reaction that left her intoxicated after drinking a glass of wine. She boarded a MAX train at PDX and exited at the Hillsboro Transit Station around 8 p.m., where she passed out on the sidewalk. Prosecutors say around 9:15 p.m., the suspect, Madrid Roca, noticed the woman on the ground and started sexually assaulting her. According to court documents, Madrid Roca continued to assault a woman for 30 minutes, stopping on multiple occasions when others got nearby before starting the assault again. The incident was caught on TriMet security cameras. Madrid Roca left on a bus at around 9:45 p.m. Transit officers didn't find the victim laying on the ground until 10:40 p.m., about 2.5 hours after she first lost consciousness. Prosecutors say she wasn't aware she had been assaulted until the next day when she contacted TriMet about numerous lost items. That's when TriMet officials reviewed the security video and reported the attack. Prosecutors used DNA evidence to identify Madrid Roca as the suspect and arrested him this month.
And TriMet did give us a response about this incident that can be found at our website, kgw.com. Madrid Roca is currently in jail in Washington County. His formal arraignment has been delayed until next Wednesday morning. Prosecutors will attempt to keep him behind bars during the trial, saying he is a potential danger to the community. David?
Yeah, such a disturbing case. John, appreciate your reporting on this tonight. Thank you. All right, in your headlines, a University of Oregon football player is facing felony hit and run charges after Eugene police say he hit and killed a man with his vehicle and then took off. 19-year-old Dalen Austin appeared in court this afternoon but did not enter a plea. It also appears he's out of jail because he is no longer listed on the jail roster. This happened around 9 Monday night in Eugene's Whitaker neighborhood. Officers say they found a 46-year-old man in the road who had already died from his injuries. Here's what a neighbor said he heard Monday night.
We were putting our son to sleep and we just heard a lot of loud kind of racing around in the neighborhood. I could hear an engine revving and sounded like somebody was driving fast around the neighborhood.
Police say they arrested Austin at his apartment a couple of hours later. Austin, a sophomore defensive back from Southern California, played in 2 games last season. The Clark County Sheriff's Office has now identified the carjacking suspect who was shot and killed by deputies over the weekend. Investigators say 41-year-old Benjamin Woods of Prineville and a woman they now identify as Lindsay Jones carjacked a van in Hazel Dell. A short time later, deputies got a call about another attempted carjacking, this one in Salmon Creek. That one was unsuccessful, they say, though deputies found the stolen van nearby, parked behind the American Legion. They say they saw Woods enter the building and then confronted him him, shooting and killing him. A witness said the suspect had a gun. Jones was later arrested. The 4 officers are now on administrative leave as Vancouver police investigate that shooting. Tigard police have arrested 4 people they say are part of an organized retail theft ring. They're accused of stealing about $10,000 worth of merchandise and were caught on Monday after allegedly stealing from a store at Washington Square Mall. Authorities say one suspect ran from a security guard and hid in the back of this U-Haul van. Police blocked it in and used a canine to take him into custody after they say he refused to come out. And it was a frustrating morning for Alaska Airlines passengers after the FAA temporarily grounded all Alaska flights due to a computer issue. The ground stop started around 7:30 and lasted for about an hour. The airline says there was a technical issue with the system that calculates the weight and balance of planes, and the company requested the grounding out of an abundance of caution. That issue was quickly fixed, but of course there were some residual delays, including at SeaTac and PDX, for several hours. Matt?
Thanks so much, David. Up to Mount Hood we go. Just looking beautiful with the clear blue sky. A little bit chilly in the morning with temperatures in the teens. That was this morning. It won't be as cold tomorrow morning. 36 degrees up there. And you know, there's plenty of snow on the mountain right now. Our snowpack usually peaks around the 1st of April. We're going to give you the 2 mountains to talk about here. Timberline, of course, on Mount Hood, and then Mount Baker up in northern Washington. We'll go back to the 1st of the year. Pretty pathetic snowpack, only 33% of average. Really got a boost, though, those first 2 weeks of January. Got up to 97 inches at Timberline, which was 100% of average, lagging behind at Mount Baker, even though they made some pretty decent gains. And then we'll jump ahead from the 15th of January to the 1st of March. And Timberline was at 93% of average. And Mount Baker got up to 149 inches, still below average, about 80%, but a lot better, right? So now let's go to April 15th. That, of course, is just Monday. Timberline's already down to 75% of average, and Baker is down to 56% of average with 92 inches on the ground there. Our snowpack usually peaks historically around the 1st of April, but the last couple years it's been earlier. Like this year is more like the middle of March as opposed to early April, so about 2 weeks earlier, and the melt-off continues to happen a little bit more rapidly than it should at 75% of average. So we'll keep an eye on the snowpack for you through the rest of spring. Bottom line is Oregon's doing a lot better than the Washington Cascades. Okay, there's a freeze warning up for the Columbia Basin tonight. No such warnings west of the Cascades. Will be 39 in the morning, get up to 70 tomorrow afternoon. And then the east winds pick up. That's going to give us warmer weather on Friday. David?
Yeah, looking pretty good overall. Thank you, Matt. This evening, the Clackamus County Sheriff's Office is trying to track down these 7 people. Deputies believe they are connected to a shooting outside the Clackamus Town Center a week ago on Sunday. Sydney Dorner followed up on this today. Sydney, what'd you find out?
David, the shooting happened right outside the Cheesecake Factory at Clackamus Town Center last Sunday. People I spoke with say they are worried about their safety and say it may be time for the mall to have armed security. Sunday evening in front of a Cheesecake Factory is not the first place you would think a shooting would pop off. But on April 7th around 6 p.m., police responded to calls about an altercation between 2 groups and gunshots at the south side of Clackamus Town Center. Maxwell Eshelman lives and works nearby.
Because of the violence there and stuff, it makes me worried that at any given moment people could act a certain way or do something like that.
When police finally got to the parking lot, they couldn't find anyone involved or injured by the shooting. They did, however, notice damage to a window at the Cheesecake Factory and shell casings. Talijah Hart also works nearby. He thinks after this, Clackamus Mall needs tighter security.
Armed weapons, at least, just in case like that happens again.
Now Clackamus Sheriff's Office is asking for help tracking down these 7 men you see here. They think these men may have answers to a shooting that still has people startled.
The fact that it was 7 people, that's actually very, very scary. And the fact that they're still looking for them, that's scarier.
Now, we did reach out to the sheriff's office to talk on camera, but they said they weren't available. They did tell us that one person was injured. The person was treated at a hospital, and investigators were able to interview them. David, back to you.
Thank you, Sydney. Appreciate that update. A The Sandy Senior Center that the state shut down in January is now facing a lawsuit filed by the family of a woman who died while under its care. Ashley Grams is in the newsroom. And Ashley, the senior in question was suffering from dementia and in memory care. What did her family tell you?
Well, David, the family, they're just heartbroken. They believe their mother's death could have been prevented. That's why they're suing Mount Hood Senior Living and the Oregon Department of Human Services. 83-year-old Ki-Soon Yoon was suffering from dementia and needed around-the-clock care. But less than 24 hours after Hyun moved into Mount Hood Senior Living, she was gone. Hyun walked out of the memory care facility. Less than a day later, Sandy police found Hyun dead in the woods about half a mile away from the care facility. Today, Hyun's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit.
No one should go through this kind of a pain. This kind of a pain. It's unbearable. Something has to change so no other family can go through this kind of anguish and the pain and suffering like we had.
Well, a recent investigation by the Oregon Long-Term Care Ombudsman sheds more light on issues within the care center and with ODHS. The report says Mount Hood Senior Living failed to care for Hyun and lacked experienced leadership. It also says the state should have picked up on these red flags sooner. Now, we did reach out to Mount Hood Senior Living and the state about their investigation into the center. We didn't hear back from the senior center, but the Department of Human Services says they're unable to comment. David?
Thank you, Ashley. Straight ahead on KGW News at 6, a sneak peek inside the biggest REI in Oregon, and it's nearly ready to open its doors. And a big boost just in time for summer, the new money that's on the way to support students and their learning needs.
I'm Blair Best. Coming up tonight at 6:30 on The Story, a new audit exposes shortcomings within Multnomah County's sheltering system, what they found and what they're doing about it. Plus, how despite these efforts, some people still choose street life over shelter.